Welcome to the ProMax series of grammar classes. In today's class, let us learn a little about the definite article. Just to refresh your memory, we are taking a look at articles, not just in terms of articles as such, but we would try and differentiate between indefinite articles and definite articles. At a very superficial level, we can say a and an are indefinite articles. But the or the is a definite article. As the name or the term suggests, definitive. That means whenever we use the in terms of particular situations. There are occasions where we should use the, and there are occasions where we cannot use the at all. So based on the kind of sentence we are formulating, it is required to have a proper use of the definite article. Now most of us know, as a very basic rule, it is very important, for example, to not use a definite article when we are talking about people. People names. Suppose I ask you, what is your name? You cannot say something like, my name is the Michael. You can't possibly say that. You just say, I am Michael, or my name is Michael. So, when we are using people names, we do not use the definite article. So, people names and the definite article cannot be used. This is a very, very basic rule. So, in order to improve your immediate speech, try to remember that people names do not take a definite article in front of them. But English language is difficult not because it has straightforward rules, but because it has exceptions in those rules. Now, where can we use definite article in front of people's names? Now, say for example, I can say something like, the Johnsons were here. Now, if I say something like this, the Johnsons were here, you might say, Johnson is a name, so why are we using a definite article? If you see, this is a family name. We are not talking about one particular individual called Mr. Johnson or Dr. Johnson. We are talking about the family name. We say the Johnsons. Alright, so therefore this, or I can even say something like the Smiths were here. So when we refer to family names, we can use a definite article. But otherwise, people names normally do not take a definite article. So we cannot precede a name with a definite article. Alright, now once we have an understanding of this, there are many instances where a definite article may be required, and there are quite a few instances where a definite article is not required. As a general rule, the is used for something in particular, but the is not used for something in general. So we can say, when we are looking at general situations, or when we are looking at something in particular. So if you take something like this, and let me illustrate what I mean with an example. Let's just classify this as general and classify this as particular and see how this varies. Sugar is bad for health. But I can say, pass me the sugar please. But I cannot say, pass me sugar please. I have to say, pass me the sugar please, probably implying that the sugar that I'm talking about here is talking about one particular sugar probably kept on the table or in the kitchen or some such place. So therefore, pass me the sugar, please. We are talking about something in particular, whereas if you look at this statement, it says sugar is bad for health. I need not precede this by saying the sugar is bad for health. So generality and particularity. Let's take another example. Dogs are animals. All right, generality. Dogs are animals, no doubts about it. The dogs are animals, not necessary. Dogs are animals. Now let's translate this. It says, say for example, you say something like, the dog in Mark's house is fierce. The dog in Mark's house is fierce. Now, why are we using the dog? We are using the dog simply because we are talking about one particular dog. We are not talking about all dogs in general. If we are talking about all dogs in general, then it should be dogs are animals. A statement of a fact does not require, at least in this case, it does not require a definite article. All right, so this is what we mean when we say generality and particularity. As you can see, the same words can be preceded based on the meaning that is being conveyed. If the meaning conveyed is particular, then very often, based on the context, it takes a definite article. Now let's take another example and see. The rich should help the poor. We are describing what kind of people, what kinds of people. The rich, meaning the rich people should help the poor. Again, we are talking about particular classes, so therefore the can be appropriately used. As such, this is not the name of anything, but it is describing a certain class of people, rich and poor. We are describing certain classes of people, so therefore it can take a definite article. So the as such has to be used very carefully. For example, Alison is at school. I'm not talking about any particular school, but I'm just saying that she went to school in general. But let's imagine Alison's mother has to go to Alison's school to meet the teacher perhaps. So I have to frame it like that. So I can say something like, Alison's mother went to the school to meet Alison's teacher. Now you see, in both instances we have used school. In the first instance, we are talking about something in general. We are just saying she went to school as such. Whereas in the second instance, what we want to imply is Alison's mom went to Alison's school only, and therefore the school. Alright, so the second sentence will read like, Alison's mom went to the school to meet Alison's teacher. So this is how individual words, or rather individual words, there is a difference when you use a definite article, and there's a difference in meaning when you do not use a definite article. It depends on what you want to emphasize. Alright, so this is one of the usages of the definite article, the.